Okay, everybody, looks like it's 12:01. Stefan or Mason will let other people come in as they filter in, but I think I want to get started just to keep everybody on schedule here. My name is MJ Anderson. I'm one of the founders and partners at RealityBLU. My title is Chief Experience Officer, so a lot of times I get to do these webinars and have conversations with customers. Very quickly, RealityBLU started in 2017 as an app-based AR solution. And over the last few years, we've transitioned the product from a web-based, or I'm sorry, from an app-based solution to a completely web-based solution. We think about augmented reality in a very, very simple fashion. Basically, we want to break down the ability for you as a user of our software to create content that comes in 4 different AR prototypes or 4 different AR types. We call those HoloTwins, portals, and things. And we'll be talking primarily today about our fourth offering, which we're really excited about, and that's our game engine. So HoloTwins and portals are both a video workflow, meaning you as the creator, the content creator, create video in a traditional sense. You upload it into our platform and you can create HoloTwins and portals. Our object model workflow is called things, and this is the ability to put 3D objects into the room with you. Our solution is, like I said, is completely web-based. All the content that you see on the screens today, all the QR codes that you see today, come down to the phone from our cloud and render inside the mobile browser on your phone. There's no headsets required. Everybody is carrying a mobile phone today, and that's how you view our AR scenes. Launching our scenes are really pretty simple. So it's essentially web content. So we can present QR codes to the user. We can include links in SMS messages. We can even put links inside of existing mobile apps that render the AR scene inside the mobile web browser that's based in most mobile apps today. And then certainly any other link that you can put online. So a link in an email, a link on a website, a link in a social media post, and so forth, can be used to trigger the content that you create in our platform. So why is AR important? So we believe, I think it's pretty evident that today we all have such busy lives, and those busy lives are affected, or in addition to those busy lives, we all carry around a mobile device. The average American this year will spend an average of 6.5 hours a day engaged with that small screen. So you use it for all kinds of things, and you're not setting aside new time in your day to do these things. You're using your mobile device as a media connector or media consumption device while you're doing all kinds of other things. So we believe that AR is probably one of the very first completely mobile-driven engagement method that will allow you as a marketer, as a communicator, to kind of cut through the clutter in your prospects or your fans or your consumers day to day, to give them content that's relevant to their lives as well as effective as a communication tool. So today we're here to talk about how we can specifically utilize games as a way to engage consumers. And the webinar today is really focused on getting you to think about how you might use an AR game specifically for promotions that you're going to be running this fall, meaning starting from today all the way through probably November and into December. The really great thing about games are, number one, they're fun. And the games, the way that we've created them, they're really fun to master. So we're seeing an enormous amount of engagement time when we deploy these in conjunction with a marketing campaign. We've made it really easy and really inexpensive to deploy the games, as I'm going to show you here in a few minutes. And it's a perfect solution if you are running standalone promotions for your organization or for your clients, or if you want to do tie-in promotions, meaning if you are your organization or your customers' organizations are already currently sponsoring, using marketing dollars to sponsor, professional or even collegiate teams as part of their marketing mix, then games are a really, really great way to, no pun intended, to augment those promotions. So from the player standpoint, from the standpoint of how a consumer actually interacts with a game, it's really quite simple. You, as the marketer, present the QR code, a QR code or a link to trigger the actual gameplay. So they scan the QR code or they click the link from their mobile device, and then the game presents itself to them through their web browser and they play it. And then after they play it, they have the ability to enter a high score. So when you deploy the game is going to be played by everybody that you deploy the game to, and they're all going to be competing against each other for a high score. So we're tracking the user's high score and so forth. And if they want to enter a high score, we're going to capture their email address and we're going to capture their first and last name. And then you as a marketer will have access to that data set after the promotion. But then we're also, when we do that capture, we're also going to fulfill a prize message to them. So you can pre-set up in the engine, you can pre-set up all the promotions that you want to run. You can set up the prize pool and all that stuff, and it can be anything that you want. It can be a coupon that we can fulfill. So it's a complete start to finish campaign manager and process. So you guys ready for some football? So football is our latest title. So we currently have 3 titles in the portfolio. We've got a basketball shooter game. We've got a really cool home run derby game, and then we just released this throwing competition or passing competition. And as you're going to see here in a second, you're going to be able to completely customize everything that you just saw on the screen there. So the game engine in RealityBLU is actually a separate license to our traditional license, but it's extremely affordable, and it can be used in conjunction with our primary license. We can talk about that more in a bit. Essentially, the game engine is comprised of 3 components. There is a game maker, which will allow you to choose from a particular game that you want to run. It will allow you to also customize the interface of the game. So you'll be able to apply all your own branding to it. You'll be able to change colors. You'll be able to add logos and so forth. Then there's a promotion manager. So the promotion manager actually lets you set up the time frame that you want the game to run. It allows you to build all the inline, all the email correspondence that you want to have with the fan or the player as they enter their high scores. It allows you to manage game versions. You can have as many versions of the game running simultaneously as you like. So you can set up these promotions to run on a time interval that might be based on, a weekly campaign or a monthly campaign. And you can also use it to deploy. It also is used to deploy the actual QR code or the links that you're going to use to actually get the fan into the game to play. And then lastly, there's a reporting and analytics engine that you have access to. And if you're a current customer of RealityBLU, you know that we do have an analytics dashboard that can be used to view scene interaction and so forth. The game engine is actually capturing a lot more data than just usage. So you will have access to a full reporting and analytics engine to see player usage and other metrics. Okay. So it all starts out with the ability to from the first time that the consumer or the fan sees an interaction with you, you're able to completely brand the all the startup screens before the game plays. So this is inherently just a feature of the way that our software works. So you can have as many different, customized branded screens that the fan sees to set the expectation to get them to play. We also have an age gate built in. So you can, if you are or your customers are in a marketplace or in a market that requires the user to be, of a certain age, then you can configure the age gate to present itself. And then certainly all the background colors, logos, and so forth are all there as well. Within the actual game itself, we have the ability to, or you have the ability to completely customize the game board. So in the case of the football game, you can customize the logo on the scoreboard. You can change the player uniforms to make them be a specific, color, whether it be a brand color or a team color. You can apply graphics to the goalpost. You can even change the football field, the way that the football field looks and it presents itself. And then another really kind of cool thing is you see those little red squares on the screen. Those are what we would call branded inventory graphics. And if you think about attending a live sporting event, a lot of times you'll see signage and logos and things like that spread throughout the venue. Those are all sponsored positions that that brands can purchase to get exposure. Well, we've translated that same concept into the game engine. So if you, for example, if you want to run a promotion for, client X, you can also not only include their identity into the game, but you might also, client X might have business partners, or client X might have other folks that they want to give access to the game, or they might want to share the expense of the game. So you can add their identity into the game as well. This is a really, really kind of a cool feature, and it's designed so that you can use the game to not only charge your customers for services to run these promotions, but you can also use the game as a way to sell sponsorship positions. And we'll talk about that in a few slides later. We've got some case studies to kind of show you what the metrics look like. Like I mentioned, there is an inline email configuration tool. So the yellow buttons that you see over on the right are drag and drop items that are all represent specific data points that we're capturing. So you can configure your email address to include, first name, last name. So you can create a very, customized and personal email that goes out to the fans. So a lot of times we recommend that you include their high score so that they can see how they did, so that it encourages them, to come back and play again. And we do get a significant amount of replays when we deploy the games. And then obviously we've got the reporting and analysis engine, like I mentioned. So if you're familiar with our product, you have access to this today. You can generate reports at will in real time to see, how the gameplay is going, how usage is going, where things are happening, where the game is being played, and so forth. So I wanted to save the analytics for the end, because showing pictures and having fun is all great, but really at the end of the day, what's really important about what we've built and what we're seeing is that when marketers apply AR, when marketers have an AR strategy, they're able to realize a 5-time increase in conversion when they apply those tactics, either within the context of things that they're already doing or even as standalone activities. So the numbers that you're seeing on the screen on the right there are actual, real numbers from campaigns that we've run. So we typically see a 5-time increase in conversion, and that's standing right next the highest current engagement or conversion tool that we all know today, and that's email marketing. So very, very compelling statistics and analytics to run these games, which anybody that's in marketing that has to answer to a CFO will know that it's all about showing ROI, and we believe that our game product, and this stat that you see here on the screen, by the way, is not even including a game stat. So this is just our traditional product. So as an indicator, our traditional product, when you deploy an AR scene, what we see typically is we see usually about a 75-second engagement time per scene. That 75 seconds moves to 10.5 minutes when it's a game. And that 10.5 minutes is a single session. So that's really, really significant. I'm going to make the presentation available to everybody on the call today, so you have a PDF. So all these QR codes that you see here are actually live QR codes that will actually trigger real active scenarios. This one was a promotion we did last winter for around basketball season for a tie-in between University of Wisconsin and their bookstore. So they bought the rights to use the lead point guard for the University of Wisconsin as an NIL deal, and they made him the spokesman of the game. So when you play this game, Chucky Hepburn is going to actually appear on the screen first, and he's going to tell you how to play the game. So it's a really great use of Hollow Twin and our games. The game ran for, I think the promotion period was like 3 weeks prior to the March Madness and the NIT tournament. These are the basic stats that they were able to realize with the promotion over the 3-week period. The 830 number was huge for them. So this is typically a very, very slow time of year for the bookstore. So they were ecstatic to get 830 new active leads that they were able to add to their CRM. And they know that if they have an active lead in their CRM, that person or that individual represents somewhere in the area of $100 in revenue over the lifetime of that individual. So for them, it was an extraordinarily successful campaign, and we're talking to them right now about running a football and then rerunning this basketball promotion later on this fall. We just completed another promotion with the American Baseball Association. American Baseball Association is a minor league here based in the Midwest, and they used our baseball game for a 3-day promotion that they ran over this last summer for their All-Star game. The lead sponsor in the game was New Balance. So New Balance paid for sponsor for that position in the game, and over that 3-day campaign period, the average player that played the game 7 times for about 10.5 minutes per play, which was huge. So that totaled about 210 hours of additional attributable eyeball time to New Balance. So New Balance had placed signage in the stadium where the game was actually played. So they had all of those eyeballs, but then they had the logo in the game. So they had an additional 210 hours, not during the game, but after the game and actually before the game, with fans playing the home run derby that they sponsored. So the real point here is, from a marketing standpoint, we're always spending money in marketing in one of 3 ways. We're either acquiring, retaining, and growing. We have seen that acquisition obviously is the hardest thing to measure. It's also the hardest KPI to hit. The few times that we have run games in an acquisition mode, we've had extraordinarily success. That last baseball promotion that I showed you, its primary driver was to encourage fans to not just play the game, but they really wanted fans to download the American Association baseball app, which they use to sell tickets for all the teams in the league. So that was a really great way. And we've done a couple of other promotions where they've actually used the game to encourage mobile downloads of a mobile app, which wasn't always, our top of mind, but it seems to be an interesting way to get people to download apps. So as a participant today, we're going to give you guys a chance to win your very own free license, annual license to the game engine. And that's going to include access to all 3 games right now, and any new titles that we add from here from today for the next year. And that we do have additional titles, on our roadmap. We were just talking to somebody this week about a casino game, so there's a potential for that in the future, as well as some other games like soccer and hockey and so forth. So with little time we have here today, I think I did pretty good on time. I wanted to open it up to anybody that had any questions. If you had any questions, I'd be happy to answer. And you can just unmute yourself and ask the questions you'd like. No questions. All right. Well, I
so I beta tested early version of the interface for you guys about a year and a half ago. Really enjoyed it. Is it a similar creation process still, as far as being able to add 3D models of your own, integration with Sketchfab, things like that?
Yes. Yeah. It's so each game is a little bit different. So the baseball game has, some 3D models of players and a pitcher. The football game, right now, though, the players, because there's so many of them and they're moving around, we chose to make those just PNG files. So they're really easy to create. But certainly basketball does have some 3D elements, like the net and the goal are all 3D models that you can certainly upload your own versions. Thanks for that question.
Thank you. Yeah, that's really exciting.
Anybody else? Well, we appreciate you guys coming. We're gonna make a recording of this webinar available to you, and we also ask you to look in, continue to follow us on social. We're going to be doing additional webinars from here on out. I think the next one we're going to be doing is either going to be on using AR for politics, or I think it might be AR for healthcare. We're going to try to zero in on certain vertical markets and give marketers ideas on how they can leverage our product for direct response. And we couldn't be happier to have you here today. And we thank you for spending the time with us.